When did you have the thought that became this film, or how did you have the thought that became this film?
I can answer. Is on the okay? No, I'm from this place. No, I'm from Spain, and this place is called Galicia. It's in the northwest of Spain, and the place, of course, is not like what you see, no, but the atmosphere is similar for what we can understand. No? The film, I wanted to try to explore the relationship between the landscape where we are and the landscape and the seascape. No, like the relationship with the ocean in this place is very strong because we are the before America was discovered. This place was thought as the end of the world, no? And the name of the place is Coast of Death, because along the history there were a lot of shipwrecks, no, like a lot of ships and boats were went to the bottom of the sea in this place, and many people died. No, and this is something that in the film is we wanted to reflect on, and so this the living with this ocean, this dangerous ocean in this place, it makes a lot of legends appear related with the death, with the afterlife, and all that, no, and the most popular, the most important beings of the imaginary world in Galicia are those, no, like the phantoms and the witches, that they are people that can relate with the dead, no, and people in Galicia, the dead and the living, they are very close, no. People in Galicia says that the dead people, they doesn't live, that they remain with us, no, and I wanted to try to reflect about this relationship with death, no, and this is my hometown. I live in Madrid, that is the capital of Spain, but I grew up and I was born in this place, no, that is a more rural place than the capital, more related with the sea, no, and this is why I wanted to work in this place and in this cultural context.
Okay. Thank you. So it sounds like it was quite a, I guess, a personal process, or a process of looking back at spaces and experiences that you had maybe growing up. So would it be fair to call it somewhat autobiographical? Is it about that time and place that you experienced?
I don't think I see it more like an anthropological approach, but not only to the reality, but also to the imaginary aspect, no, and the symbolic aspect of this culture, no. I think this film and also my previous film and the work that I used to do is more related with the cultural identity than with an autobiography aspect. But here, of course, I'm going into my cultural identity also, no, the cultural identity where I grew up, where my identity where it was formed, no. So it has to do with me in a very personal way, no. But my goal, my desire is to try to reflect and transmit the identity of this culture. I also try to protect how can I say minority cultures, not the like I'm aware that the the culture that is going to every place through the TV series to the Hollywood films, no, the United States imaginarium, no, like the idea. Uh, I I think we have to try to reflect in the films identities from other places, no, to try uh, to fight against the globalization. No, I think it's important that in the films, in the arts, in the art world, in the cinema industry world, also the different cultures have to be represented. No, otherwise we all go, the whole world is going to be like the United States. And I don't have anything against the United States. It's a great culture, but I think the richness is in the diversity, you know. So it's important that you there in Tanzania makes film without reflecting your own way of living or own desires of own your own problematics, no, not importing just and I'm speaking also not only in terms of the content, what we see in the films, but also in terms of the form, the language that we adopt in the film. No, I think it's also important not to copy the industrial way of doing films, but trying to find the a different language, no, a language that reflects your way of thinking, your way of dreaming, your way of desire, not desire. And I think is, and this is why I go to my culture, the Galician culture, the Spanish culture, and I try to find another way of showing, because the way you show, the way you reflect a reality will affect in the way you think about it and you feel it, no? And my also in my what I wanted is to reflect about the relationship between men and landscape, men and nature, no? And this is also why I wanted to put like the people paralyzed in landscape, so our view can focus more in the movement of the nature. No? That's
Thank you. That was really interesting. And there's a smattering of applause. It's okay. You can clap, guys. Yeah. Okay. Just a couple of questions from me. Then I'll open it up to everybody. One thing, you've talked a lot about really like interesting themes and ideas that went into building this film, from looking into your cultural identity to the Imaginarium to preserving, ways of seeing essentially that are not part of the mainstream. How do you go about then gathering images and for something like that? Or how did you go about gathering images and stories to go with that aim? Because like the film is really beautifully composed, and I'm just curious about what the process was in selecting all the imagery for the film.
Yeah, when I start a film, I used to do these two aspects that I was speaking. No, like one is what I want to show in the film, about what theme, about what place, about what people I want to reflect. No, and the other is which language, what I want, which new language or I want to try to explore in cinema, no? So this is the two aspects. And then I think in all my films, I try to start from the beauty of the image, no? I think the beauty and the mystery of the image is something that it's like the key that can open a new reality, a new experience of the place. No, I always try to bring gifts to the audience. No, that in terms of beauty and mystery in the image that can make them feel surprised. No, I think it's something about the experience of the sublime in the nature. No, and I think in this experience of the sublime, in the beauty of an image, the spectator open somehow to a new experience, more transcendental, more spiritual. No, and also this is also why I want to explore my film is a very slow film. No, it's like some critic say explain my film like a horror, a slow motion film. No, like phantoms but paralyzed. No, it's something also between video art and cinema. No, and this is something that I move in between these two places, no, between contemporary art and cinema. So to explore a new cinema language is something important for me. The beauty of the image is something important for me, as I think it can be the key to open the a more spiritual experience in the audience or to touch. And for me, this film, for example, I did it with many painting references. I think like Edward Hopper, the Edward Hopper paintings. In his paintings, the people are always like paralyzed, are like they are inside their thoughts, no, like they are thinking about, no, like people that are outside of the world, they are in the inner world, they are in their mind, and I wanted to explore that dimension in the film. No, the people in this film that you have seen, they are outside of the world because they are in their inner time, and I wanted to explore this different experience of time. No, the external time, that is the time where the nature moves, and the inner time, that is the time of the conscience. And the film also, I wanted to take place in the conscience of the spectator, no, that they can imagine and they can think their own ideas during the film. No?
Yeah, I think we definitely did feel some of that in the room. And I guess as a final question, for me at least, I'm wondering whether the readings of this film changed at all within the past 2 years, because I mean, it talks about isolation, and it explores things about the way that we relate to each other and the way that we relate to nature that have really come to the forefront in the backdrop of the pandemic. So has the readings changed in these last couple of years?
Yes, absolutely. What you said is something that, of course, I wasn't expecting, but yes, we all see how the world develops without us, no? And here in this film is the same, no? Like people is paralyzed, but the animals can move through the village, the sea, the wind, no, the energy of the world. And during the pandemic, we saw how the world, the nature grow up again, no, with the contamination going down because there were no traffic with the airplanes and all that. And also, again, the idea of the immobility or the long duration of the images goes also to wants to reflect about this, no, about I think the idea of progress in the capitalist world, in this wheel of production, consume. We it's so accelerated, this wheel, that we all need that we need to slow down, no, and So this is the idea. My film is trying to go against this acceleration process that the capitalists push, and in the other way, this other fight against the globalization. No? So the acceleration of the capitalism and the globalization that the media makes in the worldwide are the two main things that I wanted to try to reflect on, and to slow down and bring a bigger diversity in terms of cultural. No? And another aspect that is important in the film that is connected also with the pandemic is the mourning process, no? The farewell to the death, no? To the I think in your country was the same that in Spain, that during the high moment of the pandemic, the people couldn't say goodbye to their parents, the family members that were dying during that moment. They had to have a burial without the family, no, and that was very hard to the families, no, and in the film happened the same with the people that disappear in the ocean, no, they cannot close the process of mourning until they could say a goodbye, no, and that's also important in this pandemic moment.
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, so some questions from anybody in the crowd?
Just like this?
Yeah, just talk.
Okay, hi. Okay. Hi, I'm Ellie.
Are you muted?
Okay, I have to unmute. Okay. No, it's unmuted. Okay. That's very funny. So 2 weeks ago, we watched a movie here, and I really had to think about it. And CC next to me also. It's called Stalker by Tarkovsky. You don't have to. Oh, okay? You're nodding, so you know it. Just one question: whether you have, whether there's a reference to this movie. Also, because you chose to focus on fishermen so much, and we spoke a lot about workers in the Tarkovsky movie and how much he's focused on like the normal worker, and I just wondered why you chose this age group a little bit, like personally, because everyone seemed to be above 50. I don't know, it was just a bit interesting. Is that because that region is, I don't know, suffering from outmigration so much, or what was the reason for that? And then another question on reference about the Red Moon. Did you, like, was it really shot in 2018 when in the summer when the Red Moon was in Europe? Because it reminded me so much. I've seen the Red Moon in the forest, and the pictures were just the same. So it was very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Stalker is probably my favorite film. At least it's in the top 3 of my films. Recently, they asked me about my favorite film, and I say Stalker of Tarkovsky. No, I think it's a film that opened my mind when I saw it. I think I was 18 or 19 years old, and I thought, oh, cinema can be this also, no? And I think this feeling, no, that maybe some of you thought the same with my film tonight, no? Oh, this can be a film also, no? I think, yeah, like the temporality, the philosophical aspect of Stalker, much more philosophical than mine. No, mine is in my film. I wanted to be like a mix between documentary, as the people that we see in the films, the people from the village. No, the sailors are the sailors. Well, everybody is the people that lives there. No, so I in one level of the film, I wanted to make like a portrait of the people of the place, like if it was a picture portrait, but they are paralyzed, but the landscape moves, no? And I wanted to focus on that. And the people, well, this place is the people live there from the sea, no? Most of the people there, they have boats, or they go to take the claims in the sand. No, many people live there, and as in many rural or small villages in Europe and in the world in general, many people, the young people, they live to the cities, no? And I probably I over focus on the old people. I think also because as the film is related with death, and I wanted to see the people like in a place where you don't know exactly if they are alive or they are dead, no? As the people moves in a limbo, no? Between life and death, between the real and the fantastic. I think for me it was really hard to imagine a kid dead. No, I didn't want to imagine that. And also, people when we old people think more about death, no, about death. And I wanted the people, the film to go around that, and maybe many of the conversation can deal with that aspect of death. So is that, it's a mix, is the reality that most of the young people, they go to the city, but also I select old people.
Boas tardes e moitas grazas.
Oh, en galego.
We enjoyed a lot the movie, and I have a couple of questions. Did you record many hours? You have a lot of footage. Did you have to cut a lot? Because every image is beautiful. It seems that there's a lot of care and love behind that. So did you have to record a lot of images and a lot of hours of footage, or you just you had in your mind very clearly what you wanted, and you didn't have to cut so much? And another question that I have is the belly of the beast. And final one, because you made a reference to a stalker, but I can also see in your movie Tarkovsky, and I see also Hitchcock, the image where with the shadow of the knife. No. I see psychosis there. So was that your intention, or is just by coincidence? And you said that the painting is very present in your movie. Apart from the reference you made, I see also Vermeer, all this Dutch painting, these private scenes, and the themes that you've selected, like still life, this table with the bottle. And I don't know if that was your purpose, or it's also by coincidence. Those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And very beautiful to hear Galician language, no? He said, "Was noites" in Galician. Is very, very beautiful to hear Galician in Tanzania. And yes, I recorded a lot of images. The shooting here was strange, different to the industrial cinema, as you can imagine. No, so also the film was made mainly in post-production during the editing process. No, first I shoot the images. I try to record. I have a little structure of what I wanted to do, but mostly was to try to find as many powerful images as I could. And later, during the editing process, is when I wrote the dialogues of the characters. No, so during the shooting, I didn't know what the people were going to say. No, I have just the little structure with the main character Rubio, but also, by the way, the story of the diver is a real story. Yeah, part of he's a diver that rescued more than 40 corpses of sailors and dead bodies that they were lost in the sea. No, during his life, he rescued more than 40 corpses. That was something really amazing. No, and when I knew about his story, I thought, oh, here we have a legend that is alive. No, I don't have to build anything else. No, here is a legend. Then I mix his story, his real story, that he plays himself, the character of the Rubio, he plays himself, no, and he's the diver who rescued the bodies, no. But coming to your question, yes, I try to film as many powerful images as possible, and I have at the end, it was a very difficult editing process, as I have to choose the way and to build the structure. And also I recorded a lot of dialogues, because at the beginning I wanted the film to be more documentary, and I recorded many testimonies of people in Galicia that people that saw they saw phantoms, they saw the Santa Compaña, that is a procession of phantoms at night, that is a big legend, one of the biggest legends in Galicia. People that they went to witches because they have, I don't know, they have nightmares at night, so they went to the witch and to help them. No, my own mother and my uncle, they went to a witch to recover from some illness. No, and so it's something that is very alive there. And I recorded many interviews with the people there, but finally I couldn't use them because the voices, they were very alive. No, they had a lot of energy, and I needed the voice to be much, almost without life. No, almost a movement. And I because the contrast between a powerful voice and the image that was very slow, it didn't work. So at the end, I wrote everything, but some of the dialogues that we hear there they come from these interviews. No? And the last, you spoke about the dam. No, the dam is also, as the film is related with the speaks about the relationship between men and landscape. The dam is something that a construction that affects a lot to the landscape, no, and can control the rains, can control the width of the river. You know, so it's something very powerful that always. I don't know, I was very interested in that. No? And then I wanted to reflect also putting the dam in the film. I wanted to put like different possible evils. No? Like sometimes they say, no, the demon is the sea, or the demon is the sea monster, or the demon is the mother of Rubio, and also the dam is also one suspect of be the problem that that makes all these people have, well, all these things that happen in the sorry, my English, I've been speaking, I haven't speak English for a while, and now I feel like, oh, it's not working well, but yeah, with the dam is that. And you ask also something else, but I forgot now. I don't know if, I think it was something else. About Hitchcock and the knife. That image came from another legend, or from my country, that says that I don't know, to build some of the images of the film, I read an anthropologist that make a very strong study of the witches in Galicia and the phantoms. And one way to discover who was a witch was to put a knife in the shadow. And if the shadow can move away of the knife, she was not a witch. But if the knife keep the shadow and couldn't move away, it was a witch, no? And I wanted to work with this idea, no? That it was very powerful visually and conceptually.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, Lois, we're only got 5 minutes left.
Yes,
Our
yes,
40-minute Zoom meeting is up. Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe very quickly, just let us know what's next for you, what other projects you might have coming up, so we can keep an eye out for those.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. For me, well, I don't know if Jesse says it already, but I've been in Dar a couple of years ago. It was a very powerful experience for me. I've been there giving a video art workshop, and well, now I just finished a film in Tokyo, and yesterday they told me it was selected in Berlin Festival. It's a short film this time, and I'm very happy with this selection. Thank you. I see you clapping. And also my next project, I want to have it happen in Zanzibar, in Jambiani. I want to work with the seaweed farm, with the people there. It's going to be a film between documentary and some parts with fiction film, but mainly documentary style and a film that we can develop in community, no? And I don't have many ideas about the storyline. I want also more that it grow us during the time that we can live together to make the film happen. So hopefully next year you will see me there, and I hope some of you can help me to develop the film there.
I think you can hear the response. Okay, thank you so much, Lois. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. And yeah, I guess we'll be seeing you next year here in Tanzania.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Sorry.
Ar no ar, auga na auga, lua vermelha, chamo por vós, facede meigas como o fillo veña.